welcome to Nerdsplaining Podcast. I'm the host, Eric Da Silva. With me, as always, my co-host, Jose Romero.
What it is, what it was. Greetings and salutations, all you nerds out there enjoying life, not striking. At least most of us aren't striking.
Most of us are not, but
Most of us.
listen, half of us support the strikes and want better effort. The other half are angry and cranky they're not getting it, but that's okay. We're adults about it. One of us will encourage the fighting for better pays. The others will resentfully Miss Scrooge McDuck this thing. But that's what you're coming for. Opposite views in the love of the
hear, there was I forgot what actor it was. I think it's from one of the guys who won an Emmy recently for I want to say Atlanta. It could be a different show. I forget what it is. Either way. But he's talking about how he has to sell his house because of the strike and all that crap. I don't want to hear that nonsense. First of all, why are you buying California? You're overextending yourself. That's on you. You probably buy a house you can't afford to begin with. That's also on you.
Let me just say,
I don't want to hear this bullshit. I got some poor guy play out like a $5 billion house, and now he's got to sell it to make all that money. Let me just say,
as a resident of Atlanta, prices are pretty cheap. If you're going to be on a show called Atlanta, buy a house in Atlanta.
Buy a house on that. Go live out there, and you'll be fine. You'll be just fine.
They film a bunch of stuff here, so you can come live here.
Oh, of course, it's cheap everywhere, but I'm here in Florida and California.
All the Marvel stuff is in Atlanta. So,
but apparently they all feel the pinch. But either way, there's actually more potential issues with that. We'll have a little something to talk about that in a minute. Sure. But yeah, listen, again, like last week, it's not gonna be a big week because things are gonna crawl, right? But sure, it is what it is. But there is some nuggets to talk about. I want to kind of circle back on one of them before we get started with the other stuff we had planned. All right. And that is, we talked about Wonder Woman last week.
We did.
And Gal Gadot saying that she was told, quote unquote, by David Safran and James Gunn that there were plans to develop or whatever for Wonder Woman 3.
Right.
Which I have mixed feelings on, right? But apparently there is a reliable source. This is from Variety. So it's a major trade.
Sure.
Saying that is not true. That was never really said to her, whatever the case is. They reached out to her agent and her for comment. Nothing yet. And this came out maybe an hour or two ago. So this is pretty fresh.
Breaking news.
Yeah, kind of breaking news. Yeah. So it may not even. So all this and what I say last time, right? They could have just said, yeah, we'll call you, no problem. And Gal Gadot took that and it's like, oh, they're gonna call me. We're gonna make a movie here. Apparently not. I don't know. Well, again, it's nothing's been confirmed, but this is an inside source apparently, close to the situation. Come out.
It's Patty Jenkins.
Maybe it's Patty Jenkins.
They didn't call me. No, they're not gonna call her either.
Nobody, man. I can't have it. Nobody can. So apparently, whoever this person is, this legend those conversations or those words were never spoken by either Safran or James Gunn. So maybe when I get it, this is a mess, dude. You know what?
Look, all I'm gonna say is, if you're a subscriber to HBO Max, not called the Max.
Yeah.
There's a documentary about the history of DC Comics.
I was gonna mention that. Yeah, I asked if you were watching that. Yeah.
I am watching it, and I could totally tell that it was filmed before they told Patty Jenkins they're not doing Wonder Woman 3. She is in 40% of that footage.
Before, I guess I think the first episode thus far. And I think Henry Cavill's is in there as well.
But that was.
Oh, but that was old footage. Yeah,
it was old footage from Man of Steel.
You're right.
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah.
But she was in studio recording for this thing.
Yeah, so that was.
And I'm just like, ooh. That doesn't age well.
Maybe that's when Gal Gadot thought they were doing Wonder Woman 3.
Maybe.
We got the documentary coming out. Hey. So I don't know. James Gunn just come out and say something already. It is what it is, and just be done with it.
Anyone could say something online. It's James Gunn,
right? And which he has been doing a lot of since he took over. Just come on and say it. It's just you're not gonna hurt Gal Gadot's feelings. She's got plenty of work. I'm sure she'll be fine. Yeah. She's not gonna sell a house and this other guy. She'll be okay.
She's already made all her Red Notice money. She's good.
She's fine. It's all good. She won't be begging for food anytime soon. But so that was interesting that so I for me, don't do it. Just start reboot, like we said, right? Just start over. It is what it is, right? It didn't work, and let's move on from that. So I'm sure this will get clarification soon enough because this was just dropped today, so I'm sure next couple of days we're gonna hear something. Maybe James Gunn comes out. I don't know. Whatever.
Whatever.
But let's stick with DC and the planned topics for today because we got a little Blue Beetle action. Which we've been talking about for a while. I got to see it last night. Was it Angel Santos? I hope I don't mispronounce his name or get a name wrong.
By don't butcher Rasa's name. Come on.
I forget. I think it's Angel Soto. He's Puerto Rican. The director of the film was there yesterday introducing and talking a little bit about it and all that stuff. So yeah, I got you to see it. So I want to talk about it. Non-spoiler, of course. Give you guys.
Of course, non-spoiler review. One of the first ones.
Non-spoiler. I'm saying non-spoiler. Right. I don't want to. I'm not going to spoil anything. Let you guys know if you should watch it now. I will say this. There's some really good news from DC in regards to this film because the projections went up for it. So now
that's great.
So instead of losing 180 million, they're probably going to lose 150 million. So good. Yeah, DC, good for you guys. So projections went up to around 25 to 30. Still a bomb. It is what it is.
How was the movie, you jerk?
So I just have to throw it in there.
I have his first appearance. I'm counting on it. This is how I'm going to pay for my kids' college. Okay, it has to succeed. It has to.
I'll say, listen. I think we were both rooting for this movie. We really are.
Yes, very much so.
And listen, this is no one is talking about it. It's unfortunate, but this is a big deal for the Latino community. And they were talking about it yesterday because we were here in Miami, and it was all pretty much 90% Latino going to the film. And this is our first film. This is our first.
This is our Black Panther.
Right, exactly. And it's getting no buzz, and it's gonna bomb, and it's unfortunate. And I don't. This movie can get 100% Rotten Tomatoes. It's not gonna matter at the end of the day. But I'll say this. All that being said, it's not gonna get 100% Rotten Tomatoes. I'll be surprised if it hits 70. Surprise. Really? It was okay. It was fine. Such a mixed bag, some really good stuff. Cholo Maridueña, he's great in it as Blue Beetle. Jaime Reyes, he's really good. Right. He's a likable guy. You've seen Cobra Kai. He's very likable. I like the character. That was well done. The family stuff is cool. With a grandmother, some people hated her. I thought she was great. The third act was really cool. It's just generic, man. At the end of the day, it's just very generic. We've seen this 1,000 times. Nothing special. The CGI video game-ish fight in the end. Yeah, we've seen it.
Sure.
We've seen it so many times. I lose count. Story is okay. So Susan Sarandon, who did the best with what she had. But
sure.
She's just a mustache twirling villain. Nothing to her at all. Not a whole lot of Blue Beetle in it to begin with. It takes a while to kind of get going, and we get maybe 3 scenes with him, with Blue Beetle actually doing something. And
really?
one of which is the scene, we've seen the trailers, and he flies them to the sky and all that stuff. So
sure.
We kind of seen that with the bus. It's all part of the same thing.
So would you say that it definitely feels like a streamy movie that they bumped up to theater?
No, I'll give more credit than that. It felt like a theatrical film. No doubt.
Okay,
right?
Well, that's great.
This is not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie, but it's okay. It's not as good as Flash. It's not. I don't think it's. Maybe it's on par with Shazam 2. Maybe a little bit less, to be honest. Maybe I don't know. I only seen Shazam 2 once, so I don't know. I gotta go back to compare.
Right.
But when I walked out, I was like, okay, it's fine. It's cool, interesting. Has some good moments. Has some cringy stuff in there as well, but. Yeah, it's just a little bit let down because I really wanted this to be great, dude. Despite the fact it was going to bomb, that's irrelevant, right? I still want it to be. I'm walking out, man, at least it was a great fucking movie, right? At least,
right, exactly. That was the whole...
That's all good, fine. But no, dude, at all. I think in the 60s, I think this movie at best will get in the 60s. I'd be surprised. It really would get higher than that.
Domestic or worldwide?
No, in terms of Rotten Tomatoes, just to give you an idea. Okay. I think people would 50-60%, which is not great. Okay. Money-wise, it's... I'm thinking it's more they make 100 million worldwide, dude.
How much did you get a quote on how much it cost to make?
I heard like 150 without budget.
Without budget. Without marketing.
I'm sorry. Jeez. Without the marketing budget, I'm sorry. That's just pure production on there. And the money's well spent. Look, it looks nice. Make no mistake about it.
All the money's on the screen.
It's on the screen, no doubt. But yes, 150. It's too expensive for a movie. And it goes back to these studios just pumping so much money. And I'll give you a great example because when the director was talking about, the city itself, which is a fictional city, right?
Right.
Whatever it's called.
It's their Gotham.
Right, exactly. And he's saying that he mirrored it. I don't know if he shot scenes. I couldn't quite hear him that well. He shot stuff here in Miami or he made it where it's inspired by Miami. And it looked like it. But ultimately, I'm thinking this. Because then the seal on the film is all like sky rises and lights and looks all pretty and all this other stuff. they could have just done this in Miami. They don't need to make up a city, and you could have saved a lot of money, right? And I'll give you an example.
Right.
And Chris Nolan, right? Dark Knight, because the Batman
Right.
Begins is still a little stuff in there, but he just did Chicago, and then the
Straight
Pittsburgh
up
the next one.
Chicago. Right.
That's
Yeah.
it. Nobody gives a fuck. You know what I'm saying? We don't need all the, and that's a way to cut cost here, man. It's like that's too much money in a film that no one knows about. No one's obviously gonna go see that much anyway. That's a lot of money. It's gonna lose tons of money. It just is. Look, probably I'm thinking 185, 200 with marketing budget
But
included. It has to
would you
break
say-
even. It has to make 500 to 600 million. That's not sniffing that. It's not even close. Not even close.
Would you say that even though the movie was maybe not great, as you said, it's fine?
It's fine.
Would you say that the Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle character, costume design, personality, actor, when James Gunn says that is the first DCU character you're going to see, does it make sense? Like you want it, out of everything that was good and bad, that was the one good thing you want to see moving forward with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him again. Like if that's the I liked him. I liked him a lot. He was cool. He looked nice and all that. He just, again, it's not his fault. The script is what it is and stuff around him.
Right.
Didn't allow him to do more than what he could have done.
Sure.
But he was good. I liked him. He was. I mean, if they I have no problem bringing him back under. Yeah, if he brings him back, puts him in a different movie.
Under new management.
Right. Exactly. That could really work. Right. That could really work. It's like taking like in sports metaphor, you take that player that's not doing so well, put him a different coach, and now he's a star. It happens all the time.
Right.
Put him like James Gunn or whoever director under his tutelage or whatever.
Sure.
I like that character. I like. He was fine. Like if he sucked, that's when it would have been really. That's when
right, because that's the
right. He's the lead, right? So I liked him as the lead. So yeah, bring him back. And it's funny because there was 2 post-credit scenes. The last one was not good. It's just a waste of time. It was like the Ant-Man on the drum, worse than that.
Actually, I always say that.
I know some people like it, but I mean,
the creepiest ending to like just that one. Everyone's gone, but just one end drumming because he has no idea what's going on.
Right.
That was really creepy and
haunting.
I like that.
It was funny, but it didn't lead to any. Right, as far as like it having any real meaning towards anything, it was just there.
It was a tone setter. It was a tone setter.
Exactly. Let's have something not like that, but something along those lines. But the first. This I'll spoil because let's be honest, they're not making a sequel to this. Let's just be clear.
Right.
So it's whoever the original Blue Beetle was. In the hint.
Ted Cord.
Yes. In this film he's presumed dead or whatever. But there's define his old suits and stuff like that. It's not.
Well, you saw that trailer. You saw the old suit, right?
At the end of it, you can hear his lair or whatever in this cave, whatever you want to call it. You hear his voice coming through the radio because they activated it to do some stuff, and he's like, "Oh, if anybody's out there, I'm still alive." That kind of thing. Someone dun dun dun, whatever. But let's be clear.
The rumor was it was Seth Meyers that was going to be Ted Cord.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't recognize the voice. Actually, they didn't show him. It was just voice. But I mean, yeah, it's fine. It's some good stuff. It's just fun stuff. It's not a terrible movie. You can have fun with it. But taper the expectations. If there were any level that was higher than what it should be, it's okay.
Listen,
it's okay.
Maybe it's because I was being optimistic because first, Black nerds and Black culture got Black Panther, and it was a moment.
Oh,
and now Barbie was Black Panther for white women. They had their moment. And I'm like, is Blue Beetle going to be the Hispanic moment? And it's not.
Yeah.
Apparently, you need 5 years between moments of culture with nerddom.
It was too
and so
soon.
We got to do
it was too soon.
2028, whatever Hispanic superhero movie comes 2028, that's going to be a horror moment.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's too soon. I don't know. And
like I said, Asian people got Asian culture, got Shang-Chi, if you want to be specific.
And
they had a moment. I want the Hispanic moment. I don't know where it's going to happen, but I want the Hispanic moment.
It's unfortunate DC was I'll give him credit for being the first to usher that in, but it sucks that it was DC that had to do it. If this was Marvel, I probably would have gotten more fanfare behind it for obvious reasons.
Listen, if it's Marvel, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're going to do Marvel, Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider with the muscle car helicopter.
The moment's gone, but they can still have Hispanic. Marvel's lagging. They're lagging. Let's be honest.
That's what I'm saying.
They're lagging.
You have Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider. You have an option to make a cool moment. Just saying.
Really no doubt about it. So I really wish it's cool to finally see it, but I just wish it was our Black Panther. It's not going to be. It's clear it's not going to be that. That movie made $200 million when it opened. It was huge, phenomenal. Yeah, I don't think we care,
See,
unfortunately.
we got a Colombian Superwoman in Flash. It didn't work out. We get a
Well, she
Hispanic
didn't. She
superhero in
was.
Blue
I mean,
Beetle.
there's been Hispanic actors for the most part. But
Right, but as it
she
happened
didn't
at a
play. She didn't
moment,
play Latina
and my
character, right? She was a Latina character.
granted, the new Falcon is going to be Hispanic, so we got a little bit of a touch there. But overall, we need
We need
a
more.
Hispanic superhero
Yeah.
touchstone moment. We
Yeah.
need something. We need it.
Whatever that is, and man, it is what it is. So overall, again, if you go watch it, I don't think it's gonna be mixed. Some people are probably not gonna like it, so I'm gonna be like, okay. I don't think everyone's gonna walk in saying, "Oh my god, this was amazing."
Until then, I'm hot. I'm hanging out with Oscar Isaac, Moon Knight, because that's as close to Hispanic superheroes I'm going to get. Even though he's Jewish,
he's as close to Hispanic
it
as
counts.
Margot Robbie is. So
You shut your face.
he might as well have just been in Barbie. He should have been Ken, and it would have just been fine. Oh, who's that gringo? It's Oscar
Ridiculous.
Isaac. Oh
How
yeah,
dare you,
Oscar
sir?
Isaac.
How dare
He's
you?
gringo's a motherfucker. It is what it is. I call it like I see it. But that being said, let's get into some more bad news. This is like a bad news week, I swear to God.
Woo! Bad news.
Bad
Okay,
news.
here we go.
Little Marvel, this was tomorrow. And you and I had talked about it because of the strike and all that coming up. Delays were inevitable. We've seen Sony, do that. Not that we're sad about, Kraven the Hunter being delayed or anything. Let's not get crazy.
Not at all. Not even a
we
little.
were okay. That's a good thing out of the strike. It's like, no problem. Go work on the film.
I was
whatever.
actually hoping for the strike just to push
Exactly.
that back.
Just push it back a year. But now, I guess they had the whatever shareholders call Disney or whatever it was, and I guess they announced their slate of films, and they took out Deadpool. Deadpool's not even on the slate. It's been removed from the release. Not even postponed, delayed. It's been
Straight up
removed from the May release. So I don't know. No word. We shouldn't be surprised because I think I wasn't too sure at the time, but after we talked about it, yeah, the film was still currently filming, and it's gonna get delayed because now you can't just put it anywhere because you have to worry about who other films and the slate's already been filled.
Absolutely.
Now the potential scheduling conflicts because Ryan Reynolds made his other movies that he is slated to contractually obligated to begin at certain times, so they have to delay Deadpool to do those. Who knows? So
who knows?
Oh boy, this could be a while, or then move the entire, which I think that's probably the best way to go. Move the entire Marvel slate down. Give it time to kind of reset or think about things.
I mean, I think the moral of the story is that Deadpool can fight the entire 20th Century Fox universe, but he cannot fight a writer-actor strike.
He can't.
That is where
he doesn't have what it takes.
Fourth wall breaks stop right there.
Doesn't have what maybe Blue Beetle have what it takes. But no, Deadpool. That kind of sucks though, man. This was one of the films I was actually looking forward to. Like, I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
And despite the fact I don't think it's having to do with the current state of Marvel. It's gonna be like a Guardians kind of thing, right? And Guardians really worked out.
I think it does. It's gonna be dealing with the TVA, the multiverse. I think it would actually do a lot for the current state of Marvel.
That's not gonna do a damn thing.
I
disagree.
both
didn't know that. First of all,
I disagree.
First of all, I do know that. We put that out right now. It's nothing to do because it has multiverse, but
right.
Multiverse has nothing to do with that. Like I said, Marvel sucks at multiverse. I don't want to say multiverse because they suck at it. Let's be honest. They're terrible. They're horrible. Everyone does it better, but them. That's embarrassing. They're doing this film in a certain way that has nothing to do with Marvel. Not a damn thing. Trust me.
They're doing it better than DC.
They're not doing it better than DC. No, Marvel right now is doing nothing better than DC. They're
doing the multiverse better than DC.
They're not. It's shit.
DC multiverse.
It's shit.
DC multiverse was a straight up bomb.
It's shit. They're both shit. They're both crap right now. They're both in their fucking toilet. Let's just be honest. Let's call it what it is. I know people love Marvel for whatever reason. I mean, keep saying it. People are giving way too much credit. They keep shoving in shit. People keep eating and just tasting delicious.
Listen,
because they feel so bad that Marvel's... Listen, Marvel... Right now, it sucks. It just sucks.
Marvel right now sucks.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I will say. Wait. Me and my kids, we just rewatched Loki, and we just rewatched Spider-Man: No Way Home, and that did a lot for the multiverse. And it was we still holds up both.
It did nothing for the multiverse. Loki had nothing to do with the multiverse. Not a damn thing.
Loki literally ended with the multiverse being born. It totally has something to do with the multiverse.
Yeah, it was born, but then they actually gave birth to it because of Doctor Strange in No Way Home. It made no sense. There was already established all these timelines, but then it took a spell. Dude, stop it. It was awful.
No, you're getting it backwards. There was
No,
the sacred timeline, and when it broke, that's why Strange's spell went
no.
haywire.
His
His
spell
spell wouldn't have
caused
gone
the
haywire
rift
if
to
there was
go
not a
into
multiverse.
it. No, I
That's
don't
what
want
I'm
to hear
saying.
that stupid, ridiculous, horribly written spell. The dumbest thing that Marvel's done, despite the fact I like the movie. It's gimmicky, but it's a good movie. And that was just retarded. They are horrible at multiverse. Dude, stop. You gotta stop defending it, because we knew I agreed on.
I'm not
We agreed on this like a month ago when we talked about that. You and I agreed that they were the worst. Everybody was doing it. Everybody was doing better than Marvel.
Ant-Man was fun because the kids liked it, but I thought it was a cop out in the third act. We talked about this. The CG was all over the place.
A 5-year-old could like it doesn't mean that it's good, or a 10-year-old.
I didn't say it was good. I said
even a
kids liked
20-year-old.
it. That's
Most
good for them.
20-year-olds these days are ridiculous. That being said, I'm not gonna trust anything they say. We all know it sucks. How do we know that? Because these movies aren't good. Then have underperforming, and when other studios do it, they just excel at it. They win Oscars with less characters.
That is true. That is true.
Just fact, right? And
everything Allware is an incredible.
It's just all fact. So that being said, trust me. What you heard, it's not doing anything. It's its own thing. They're gonna put multiverse, because and they're gonna make fun of it, because that's what the joke the week is, because they know it sucks, so they have to make fun of it. If Deadpool's making fun of it, that's not a good thing. It's just not. It's not. And the news continues on for Marvel. Doesn't get any better. So apparently, the Marvel Studios VFX employees, that's not a large amount. I think it's like 50 to 60 around there. So now they've decided to unionize. And this may begin the domino effect here, because we've heard all these stories where there's been complaints from all these companies, and they're incredibly overworked, 18, 20-hour days, working 20 days straight, no days off, these deadlines, which are incredible. The demand on them is just so much. And it's not just Marvel. It's you got Marvel, DC, Sony. Every studio is using CGI, and it's just like, boom, now we're getting, like this year, we got 4 DC films, 3, that's like 7 films in Marvel total, and this Sony had Craven. That's 8 films, big films with big CGI. It's a lot of work. Not to mention the TV shows and Netflix and all these, it's impossible. So there've been a lot of complaints and all that. This was bound to happen. Marvel's employees took the first step. I'm sure other people are gonna see it and say, they might do the same thing. And what may happen? Strike, which I think will be a disaster. It's just as bad as the actors and the writers.
Wait, I see. Once again, you're. This is a good point to you. Don't make so many movies. Take your time in CG. This is literally what you've been complaining about the whole time. This is a step towards that.
It may not. It may be. Who knows? Because listen, they won't complain if they're getting paid accordingly, which is fine, right? Listen, because you're working 18, 20-hour days, you're going to get paid accordingly. And they're not. They're underbidding, because all these, it's like construction, right? You place a bid, and the lowest one's going to win, so you're going to have to undercut your competitors. So you pay them enough, they're not going to complain. They complain about the hours as much as it is the compensation, right?
Right. So if you stop underpaying, now you have less complaints. People are working more, but then also they're going to pace it out more. They'll say it's going to be this much, but it's going to be done in this time. And at least there's a floor.
The only good thing I would say is, like, listen, first of all, studios need to back off the CGI usage. It's too much, man. It's too much. Yeah. What we say, Indiana Jones shouldn't be $300 million. I'm sorry.
That's absolutely right.
It should never be $300 million ever.
It should be 50% practical effects. That's what it should
be. 85% practical effects, right? We've gotten the 3 best ones. The 2 worst ones are the ones that use CGI.
Absolutely, you're right about that.
The first 3, nothing. You can do movies. You don't have to use CGI, man. You don't, man. You can minimize. Ask Nolan, for Christ's sake. He barely uses CGI in his films.
Absolutely.
Tenet, even Oppenheimer. But he did a huge explosion without CGI. It can be done.
Absolutely.
We've seen it, and it's cheaper. It's cheaper. They're lazy. They relying too much on it. I get. Listen, superhero films, you have to use it. I get it. But you can scale back. You don't need a big CGI fight. We were just complaining about the third act is too big, too much stuff going on. Shang-Chi, that's an example of when we talked about.
Third pack that completely lost track of itself.
Scale it back. You don't need the big monster. You don't need all that, dude. Focus on the story, man. Come on, that's what matters, right? So
I mean, listen, we said it before. Daredevil, Netflix. Very little CGI. One of the best, well done practical effects.
Agreed.
focused on
Of
story.
course.
If it's a street level character you're gonna do, like a Moon Knight, we don't need a suit that builds all around him.
Right.
Have him just
Have a
have
suit.
him put on the suit. Let him just make himself be like he can still fight supernatural things, but he
Sure.
doesn't have to be supernatural. The only thing that Moon Knight does supernatural is that if he dies, Khonshu brings him back to life. And that's you could do that with wire work
I mean,
and
if
some
you're gonna use
lighting,
some,
and
yeah, I mean,
it's
you can use minimal CGI. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can,
yeah,
let's
I'm
scale
saying,
it back,
but
right?
you
'Cause even
minimize it.
Secret
You
of
focus on the character.
Secret
Right.
Invasion was a $212 million. That's too much.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That was crazy.
That's crazy. I mean, and you don't even see it. Let's be honest. I didn't see that money on the screen, but whatever. But that's too much. It's too much for
The
a show.
only time you saw the money on the screen was on the last fight of the last
Right.
episode. Everything else was corner cutting
That's what I'm
to the
saying.
extreme.
I mean, I don't understand this budget. They're ballooning like crazy, and that poses an issue because now when these movies underperform, well, whose fault is it? You're making
Exactly.
mediocre films with big budgets. No, it's a loss. It's
That's
not gonna work.
that's
So,
always going to be
yeah. So
when you start getting high in your own supply. You're
yeah,
gonna make mistakes.
It doesn't work, guys. So let's see. I mean, like I said, we'll see how the union goes. If they strike, it's gonna be a nightmare. Nothing else. I think the studios may say, okay, guys, you can unionize, that's fine, but then they'll probably be more agreeing to coming up with something right before they strike. They got to eat too anyway. So
Absolutely.
it is what it is. So we did Marvel. Let's stick with this is Marvel, right? So now, all this being said, and we talked about resetting with Marvel and all that stuff. It may not be the only thing resetting because apparently there's a huge conversation with Jon Favreau and stuff that I heard about, and they're talking about, for example, Mandalorian 4. Now they're thinking about this whole stoppage has gotten to thinking, and now they're contemplating not even doing season 4 per se, just making it a film to end everything.
Okay.
To end everything. So no more series and a theatrical film. As
Okay.
it were. And there's some other changes. I heard Kathleen Kennedy was fired from producing that and another film coming out.
Well, that's
So
great.
that's a good thing. But this is interesting. Right. So they may just take a different approach. It's good and bad because, I mean, well, again, maybe they'll over budget this too because it's Mandalorian. But if this ends, what's left? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the best thing they got going despite season 3's, shortcomings.
Right.
It's still the best thing they got. If they do a movie ending, okay, well, where does that leave us? There's nothing left, man. Like, we have nothing.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, streamings are going to be, like, I know there's stuff you do for streaming. I get it.
Yeah.
Stuff you do exclusively for streaming.
Sure.
I understand. But to my understanding, let's look at Netflix as the original arbiter of what streaming was supposed to be.
Sure.
Streaming was supposed to be big movies from all the places featured in one place. You could watch anything you wanted, and maybe like 5 to 8 original series of different genres, from like dramas to horror to action to like sci-fi. So even though it's 5 to 8, you're not getting 5 to 8 of all the same thing. You're getting different variety of things, and that's how you get your subscribers. You keep them in places. That's what you do. I think every streaming service is going to realize, let's make the movies. The movies, after we sell the digital hard copies of the media, they land on the net on the streaming, so you can watch it anytime you want. And we'll do 4 to 6 original series, but different variety stuff. And if it's really popular, move it to the movies. Get more money, have them come to the streaming service. It's sort of like, because of the pandemic, it changed the perspective of everybody doing everything. And I feel like now we're sort of realigning to like, oh yeah, we got to do this.
Yeah.
This
is kind of like the whole like the housing market back in the late 2000s where everybody was buying and it crashed, right? Everyone's like, oh, they were just living the dream, and then I think the streaming may head towards that. I mean, I know, well, Bob Iger's been cutting left and right throughout all the Hulu, ESPN, all that stuff, and they're still doing more. But he's talked about cutting back. It's funny that they mentioned that hotel thing, the $5,000 a night.
Yeah.
To no one's surprise, I think it lost him like $250 million.
Which is actually less than I expected. I thought they would lost way more than that.
I mean, it's still big, but obviously that did not work.
250. That's like a Secret Invasion
for
series
real.
to them.
With an extra episode. That's a 7-episode Secret Invasion, not just 6 episodes. We get more Samuel, everybody wins. But yeah, they're hemorrhaging money. All the movies are bombing, like all Elemental bombed, and I like Elemental.
Listen, but that's the thing. You're only going to realize you have a problem when you hit rock
Oh no,
bottom
yeah.
and you wake up in a dumpster and you're like,
I,
what have I
I
done with
think yeah, I
myself?
think it's
Where's my
yeah, I
life
think it's
going?
hitting
Now
you
you
now.
gotta,
And you're
yeah.
right, and I like the fact of taking Mandalorian out because you're right. Maybe it shouldn't be on streaming. Streaming should be, at least for Disney, because let's be honest, they haven't gotten it right anyway. Why bother?
And listen, we've all said Mandalorian's so good, it shouldn't be a series. It should be a movie. We've said that from the beginning, and we're like, we'll take it because we're happy. And by the time we
Of
couldn't
course.
leave anywhere, so it was a lifesaver. But that all being said, if you're getting a consistent viewership and you want to expand to a bigger market, show the world what you could do with a one story, 2 hours, maybe 2:15 the max. If you got a bananas great
Oh,
story, you
of
get
course,
some
yeah,
good
yeah.
CG, you get some practical effects, because that's how Star Wars always works best. That's the
Agreed.
one thing, you say what you will about J.J. Abrams. He
No,
said it. Star Wars works with practical
yes,
effects
he did.
and
Yeah,
CG. That's the best way to do a Star Wars. You could
100%.
save money on Fresco, because you just voice over until like the third act. He takes his helmet off. You're like, "That's your money shot, baby,"
And there you
and
go.
you're good. That's it.
No, it's true.
That's what you need
It's
right
true.
there.
And yeah, it is. And well, I like it as a big screen, but if it's the last thing they do, that's what kind of sucks. It's just kind of like, it's a little bittersweet, right? If you're gonna, obviously gonna go out and start, right? Big screen, whatever, and all
But
that good stuff.
well, first of all, it's not going outside because they'll still have the Dave Filoni movie. So it's going to be the Mandalorian movie that goes into the Dave Filoni
That
movie.
one, I can't
And
say I'm excited for that. It's hard. Again, it goes back to Star
you're
Wars, right?
crazy. I'm very excited about that.
It's
And here's the thing: you're saying, you've been saying for how long in this freaking show have you said, "Give me new Star Wars. I'm done with old Star Wars. This is going to force them to do new Star Wars. Show them different things to get them in there."
Is it? I don't know yet.
I mean, listen,
They haven't proven.
Orlando,
They haven't proven that. They
notwithstanding,
haven't proven that yet that they can do news. We haven't seen it
but
yet, right?
listen, you're right. You're right. They
So
haven't proven it, but if they
they may just
force
do
them to do new
spin
Star
off or
Wars,
something
why not?
else, and who knows what the hell they're gonna do. Listen, we got Ahsoka coming out, so I'm willing to give it a shot here. Open minded.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not excited about
That's
it.
what I'm
I'm
saying.
not excited, but I'm not gonna go in there,
You're,
ready to shut the bed.
I think you're gonna be pleasantly surprised. Plus, we got to represent the Rosario Dawson.
No,
If
listen,
we have any kind of Hispanic Star
I
Wars,
love me some Rosario
Paul
Dawson, no question.
Pascal and Rosario Dawson is where it's at. We got
no complaints there. But so, let's see. But yeah, this is interesting, and we're going to see a lot more change. I think this is just getting started. There's rumors about them selling Disney Plus and Hulu. I don't know about all.
To Amazon. Amazon, I heard
to Apple,
maybe
Apple.
right. Apple, right?
Who can? They have money. They got stupid money. I mean, it's ridiculous. They can buy.
They have stupid money and a very small catalog of stuff. They'll take all that.
They'll take all that they can get, and they can pay for it without breaking a sweat. They can pay for that easily.
If they sold to Apple, would they just put the Mickey ears on the Apple itself?
Be kind of cool logo. Kind of like that.
Yeah,
interesting.
So.
But I mean, that's all rumors, of course. But whatever. But speaking of which, they gotta make money, so they raised the price again on Disney Plus. Oh, of course it did.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, they
20%.
raised it again. That's twice in less than a year. They went up, dude. I think it's double from what it started at the beginning of the year. That's a lot. That's a lot. I wouldn't mind if they gave us
so like
when
they
content.
first started,
it was $7.99.
When they first started, it was $7.99, right? Now it's what, $12.99?
It's going up to $13.99 or $14.99. So I think it's 13, but the new price hike.
So,
yeah.
So I mean, listen, HBO Max or Max is $15.99.
Oh yeah, but it came out like that, so nobody got swindled.
I always said as soon as Max hit $15.99, I go, that's gonna be the medium number. That's gonna be the medium number.
I knew Disney was gonna do it, but twice in a year, that's a lot. That's two hikes in 1 year. Baby steps. Give it a little at a time. You can't just hike it and then hike it again like 3 months later.
But Disney's smart about it.
I get it.
There's a strike. There's nothing coming out. People need a thing to watch. Jack it up a little more right now.
Shows to watch. No one's gonna have anything new. Maybe, I don't know.
But you're not gonna watch new. But you're going to go for the old. We want to see first 3 phases of Marvel. We want to see all the Disney classics because the kids are still wanting to watch things. We're gonna want to watch National Geographic because I'm super stressed out. I need something to go to sleep too. Like there's a bunch of stuff that you need just to survive.
They're losing subscribers, and this is not gonna help. You don't gain subscriber raising the price. We lost I think they lost not a lot, like 1 or 2%. Raising the price is not going to say, oh, we're going to come back to Disney now.
Here's the thing. I think they raise the price, and then whoever stays, like I'm going to have to stay because I got family and everything, but whoever stays, we become the floor. That we become the cornerstone that they build off of that. And I think that's what's going to happen.
They're hemorrhaging money. I feel bad for Disney right now.
Oh, man, they're hemorrhaging money. But I'll take the fact that
they're in bad shape, man. They really are. It is what it is.
listen, when
It's
you
bad.
have people like Kathleen Kennedy who are making bad calls, when you had people like not Bob Iger but Chopek, right?
Paycheck. What his name is? Bob Paycheck.
Not Paycheck. They lost
No,
Paycheck
he
because of
lost.
this
He
dude,
lost. He
Chopek
still
or whatever
he
it is,
lost
right?
paychecks, but
But
whatever. It's
he when
terrible.
you have what I'm saying is when you have guys
Terrible.
on the top mismanaging, you know they say trickle down economics, trickle down bad
No,
choices. When you have
it's
people at the top
bad. Yeah.
mismanaging, eventually it just affects everybody else. And the people who know what they're doing can't really say what they're doing because their boss is telling them more this CGI ridiculous Indiana Jones plots, and you just have to survive.
No, yeah,
We're doing this, and
it's a
now that you
mess.
clean house, you get to be more like this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah, it's gonna. I think it's
Stick
gonna be a
to
couple years
plan.
before we see any real change because it's a lot of wheels in spinning here, and
You gotta
we haven't
remember,
seen the
look
last
how
of this.
far
Yeah.
it took. If you want to be honest with it, it took not No Way Home, but Far From Home. Since Marvel Far From Home to get to where we are now, it took even with the pandemic considering, it took a couple of years of bad choices to make them go, oh man, we got to make some changes. So it's going to take the same amount, like
Oh,
another
it's gonna
5 years,
take time. Yeah, to get them back
to
up.
get
Yeah.
to where they want to go back to as a reset.
Right. Agreed. Yeah,
So
yeah. So it's gonna be a while.
so
Yeah.
when we get a win, appreciate the
I
win.
appreciate.
But when we get a loss, when we get another Eternals, when we get another Secret Invasion, when we get another bad third act like Shang-Chi, it's gonna be the kind of stuff where like it's gonna get better because
At some point,
there's
right?
gonna be a plan.
I mean, I don't
Let's
know.
just get to X-Men and we'll be fine. We
That's
just gotta get to
Well, I think
X-Men.
that's who knows.
It's
They should have just cut it, go straight to X Men at this point. I really do.
it's
I mean,
it's like dieting. You gotta eat lean for a little bit to kind
of
of get that
course,
body that you want, and then you can have a little bit of your cheat days and stuff like that. But we gotta get to there. We gotta work. We gotta build.
it's a process.
Yeah,
It's a process.
it's a process. And the only reason I'm this patient is because I'm a Miami Dolphins fan, and like for 15 years we were rebuilding. So I'm like
50
let's
years
go
ago.
through the motions.
40. And speaking of rebuilding, let's go back to DC here.
All right.
I figure we start and end with DC. This is really a bad news kind of day.
It
really is, right?
It is some hard medicine to
this
swallow.
One. Now this was not quite bad news, but this is an interesting one. So apparently David Ayer, who's a decent director, gave us the Suicide Squad, not the Suicide Squad. Oh, forgive me, the Oscar-winning Suicide Squad.
Also
Facts.
gave us Fury.
Yes,
One of the
Fury's
best
a really good one.
war
Yeah.
tank movies
Really good, yeah,
ever.
really good film. And the other one with Michael Pena, the cop one, was actually an underrated movie.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called. Jake Gyllenhaal was in that one too. By the way, so he gave us, Suicide Squad, which was a disaster. It is what it is, right? Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
So apparently he had another one who's had conversations with, maybe it was the guy Gadot in the room when that happened, with James Gunn, and James Gunn told him confidently, we will see the Ayer cut, this infamous Ayer cut, a la the Snyder cut. So now we're getting this again. It's coming all back. I know things are different circumstances.
Listen, all I'm saying is, too many people keep talking to James Gunn when he's on edibles, and they're misunderstanding. He's like, "Yeah, man, totally."
Maybe.
I was like, "This
Well,
is a lock."
I think James Gunn confirmed this.
Did he?
I think I don't. This one seemed like it was like a something that he did talk about and then confirm. He didn't say when. He just said eventually. Again, that could be yeah. I'll call you.
On the last year before his contract is canceled,
on his way out, like,
we'll do it.
the
Whatever.
real quick. So I mean, oh my God. First things first. First of all, let's assume this is true. Fine.
Sure.
They should never release this Ayer cut over the next 5 years. Again, let's not go back to the well nobody wanted to go back to, man. We don't want to see, here we gotta get away from this DC, right? And releasing a cut, it doesn't help. It doesn't help because then the conversation goes towards that, and maybe Ayer's cut's great. I don't know, whatever. And, oh, they shouldn't have done that. And, oh my God, it's just like here we go again. You got a lot of, for whatever reason, you got a lot of hardcore Snyder fans. It is what it is. This is just fueling more fuel to the fire. Let's just be honest, right? Oh, you see, let's not change it. Look how good Ayer's cut is. Oh my, and it's just, it doesn't work. They should, oh God, at least 5 years, at least 10 years.
I'll tell you when you release the Ayer's cut. When you do James Gunn's version of the Justice League, then you do the Ayer's cut. Like, we've culminated, we've won, high fives all around.
Right, yeah.
By the way,
it should be a time when they've, hopefully, fingers crossed,
they've hit their milestone.
Right.
Hit your milestone.
Or just
like your big team movie, your milestone movie. Then you do that as like, and by the way, because you get stuck out and we nailed this landing, now you get the Ayers cut.
Yeah,
That's when you
just
release.
wait, just wait till you're successful consistently. It could be
That's
three or
it.
four, 5 movies, and you have to be Justice League. Like, I know haven't even announced it, but whatever. Wait 3, 4 years, and then DC's, where Marvel used to be. Maybe I don't know, right? With faith in James Gunn for now. Okay, then you just drop it. Oh, by the way, here's their cut on HBO Max or Max.
Only HBO Max.
No,
That's
right, no,
it.
yeah.
Only
There's
HBO
not
Max.
theatrical release by any stretch of the imagination.
No way.
This is
No way.
no,
And if
straight
it
to
hits a
Max.
certain number of max, if you want to double down your money, then you send a hard physical copy, but it has to hit a certain number on streaming
yeah.
for it to do.
Release
This
it.
way, you're guaranteed sales. It's business
Yeah,
101.
listen, you release it. If it sucks and it just it helps you look better. So look where we're now compared to this.
Absolutely.
Right? Everybody wins, and if the movie's great, it doesn't matter. Okay, cool, because DC's on, clicking all cylinders. Whatever. It's a no lose situation.
Guys, it's a simple rule. You don't hit up your ex when things suck. You hit up your ex when you're killing the game, and you're like, boom, look what you lost
I
out
got.
on.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to
Like,
making money
you
now.
do.
You got a new house.
That's
just
it.
could've been
Yeah.
you, honey. You're dating a model.
You drop the ball,
you're putting
baby.
on social media, and you make sure she's seeing you, making her
Absolutely.
regret. But yeah, but listen, are you even curious about Erica? Like, did you even care, honestly?
No.
Exactly, right? Exactly.
Like, I keep thinking, like, oh, but what would Jared Leto's version of it be? I'm like, I kind of saw it at the end of Justice League, and I saw what we're doing in Morbius, so I really don't care
That's what
anymore.
I'm saying. It's
I don't
like
care.
I get the Justice League one. I get that because that was
Unless
that wasn't his film, right? That
unless
wasn't Snyder's film.
there's only one version I want to see the Ayers cut. If Will Smith unironically says, "So we're some sort of Suicide Squad," like it's got to be the most unironic delivery of that line. Then I'm in.
Oh,
Then I'm 100% in.
It's crazy.
And then he slaps Amanda Waller. That's the only way I'm in.
That would work for me. But no, yeah, that God, that's kind of so bad, dude. I don't even care. I mean, I'll watch if it drops in 5 years. I'll give it a shot. It's
Sure.
on Max, it's free,
Listen,
but I'm not gonna be
there's
excited.
There's a novelty. There's a curiosity.
Right,
Absolutely.
but I don't think anyone's really clamoring, to be honest, for the Aya cut. Nobody cares. Besides, I've seen a small group of fans, I'm sure, but really, this movie? Come on, bro. You can pick 100 movies that deserve a cut. This is just not one of them. It's not. I'm sorry. So that's oh God, that's a 5-year plan. I swear to God, don't.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Gotta
It's
be
the only way that works.
Only way it
Only
works.
way.
Dump it on Max when no one cares and whatever. And you watch, have a good time. But that being said, Eric, like I said, not a great week, but some interesting tidbits. Disasters looming. Hopefully, we try to be optimistic.
Listen.
We want to be optimistic here on the show. We really do. I want to be, but it's just
When
hard.
it comes to the Week in Geek recap, it's not all great,
Not all
but it
great.
is what it
It
is.
is what it is.
And we're giving you inside scoops. We're letting you know where the world is. And we're letting you know, honestly, even though me and Jose sometimes have very different opinions, we call each other out and we can kind of see what's going on. Because listen, sometimes you got to be real with each other. You're like, hey, man, it's going to suck.
Yeah.
This is going to suck. But
Like Blue Beetle. No, I'm just kidding. Blue Beetle doesn't suck. I'm just joking. It doesn't suck. It doesn't
listen,
suck.
like most white girls' vision boards, this too shall pass. So we have to just be focused on what's coming up. Hope for the best. Appreciate the good that's worked out. And if anything, we can always talk comics as well. So we will have more of that as we go along, depending how the strike works out. But don't worry, nerds, we got you of all varieties. We got you. But guys, as Jose said, this has been the Week in Geek here at Nerdsplaining Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe here on YouTube at the Latin Nerd Network, where you can watch shows such as The Watch List, Nerdsplaining, and Thanos' Choice, and more shows coming along the way. Don't forget to like and subscribe here, and also follow us on social media at Nerdsplaining Pod on Instagram, at Nerdsplaining _ at X, because Twitter died apparently. Don't forget, you can also go to DangerSquad.com. This is in development of a graphic novel I'm doing. If you are a nerd with kids or a nerd who just likes fun Goonies type stories, that is a place to check out. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us there as well. More information coming on that. And also, let us know what you thought about the show, what you liked about the show, what you hated. Whose opinion are you more aligned with, me or Jose? Let us know what we should talk about next time, and we'll do all that for you. As always, guys, I have been Eric Da Silva. This has been Jose Romero. We have been Nerdsplaining. And if you don't know, now you know. Boom.